Hello and welcome to Squire Archery. My name's Andrew Parsons and I'm the Chief Archery Instructor here. The purpose of this video or demonstration is to show you how to safely use the equipment that we provide and a few safety lessons on the actual range itself. So when you first do arrive, you'll be coming through some double gates and you'll be driving behind the back of our marquee, and then you'll be parking up by the barn there, so we can get a good number of cars in there, so there's plenty of parking. After that, you'll be going into the marquee to get your safety gear put on, which will include an archery glove, as I'm wearing here, and an archery arm guard. So those will be the first things that you put on. And then after that, you'll come outside where you'll collect your bow, which we have a number of, and we have both left and right-handed bows. When we do come to shooting with our bows, you will notice that they have multiple strings on them. The bows that we use here are the latest in bow technology. They're called compound bows, and they're very, very nice bows to shoot with. But they do have these cams on and multiple strings. And it is very, very important to remember that you should only pull the back string. So do not touch those strings, only pull the back string. Another very important thing to remember is that when you do pick up your bow, it's very important that you do not pull the string back and let it go unless you have an arrow loaded up and you're aiming at the target. If you do pull the string back and let go, it is particularly bad for the bow, and it's not safe practice. It can actually break the bow, the string can snap, and you can injure yourself. So a golden rule when you do come to do archery, anywhere that is, it is very important that you do not pull the string back and let it go. It's called dry shooting, and as I said, it's very, very dangerous. When we do come to actually shooting on the range, we all have our own sets of arrows with a quiver stand, and this is set up on the shooting line. And it's very important that when you are on the shooting line, you have your foot either side of your quiver stand, like so, with your left shoulder if you're right-handed pointing at the target, or if you're left-handed then your right shoulder will be pointing at the target. But it's very important that you have your foot either side of the quiver stand, because as you can see, there'll be a line of people all shooting together, and you all need to be in a straight line for safety reasons. If I do shout, or any instructor shouts stop or fast for any reason, you need to immediately put your arrows back in the quiver stand, put your bow back down on the chair and walk back. This command will only be given if there's an incident or something serious has happened and we need everything to stop straight away to address the situation. It's highly unlikely to happen, but if it does, it's important that you do know that command. When we are safe to shoot, I will let everyone know, or the instructor will let everyone know, and you will then come up to your quiver stand and we will then show you how to load and shoot your bow safely. When it comes to loading your bow, what you do is you first of all obviously make sure that your bow is up the correct way, and then you select your arrow and you take it out the quiver stand. And the easiest way to remember is that you go over the top of the bow and then down the side nearest to you, and then the arrow actually rests on that little silver bar, which is the arrow stand. And then you slide the arrow down and you clip the arrow just below that white dot on the string, and it clips in, and you will notice that if I turn it upside down, it actually stays on the string. It doesn't fall off. So it's important to note that it does go below the white dot. Another very important thing to remember is that every single arrow, although they may all be different colors, every single arrow will have a white fletch on it. And the reason why it has that white fletch on is that when the arrow flies out of the bow, it's not catching the bow. Because if we loaded up the arrow this way, what you can see is that as the arrow flies out, the fletch is going to be hitting that string and the bow, and it won't be a clean flight for the arrow. So we always make sure that the white fletch is facing away from the bow or towards your body, and you then know you're good to shoot. When you do come to pulling the string back, with your gloved hand, all 3 fingers go below the arrow. Okay, but you don't want to be touching the arrow, you want to be just slightly below the arrow. So you don't want to be like that, and you don't want to be like that. Okay, you need to be just below it by about 3 or 4 millimeters, and that will be perfect. Now, it's very important that when you do shoot, if you are right-handed, you need to try and shut your left eye and aim with your right eye. And if you're left-handed, you need to shut your right eye and aim with your left eye. So that's a very important point to remember. Okay, so when you come to actually shooting the arrow, you need a good strong supporting arm that's holding the bow, because you'll be pulling back against that. So your arm needs to act like a strut. With your gloved hand, all 3 fingers go below the arrow, and then you need to pull the arrow right back. Don't be afraid to pull it. You need to pull it right back so that the end of the arrow is protruding by about 1 to 2 centimeters from the end of the bow. And when you do pull back, you need to pull back very close to your face. So your hand needs to be really close to your face. And that brings me on to another point, which is another safety point which I'd like to talk about. So when you do come to Squire Archery, we always ask everyone to make sure that they're not wearing any jewelry from the waist up. And the reason being is that when you do let go of the string, if the string snags onto any jewelry or long hair, you know, if you do have long hair, it needs to be tied back. If it does snag, it will be painful. So as long as you have everything tucked away, so you've got no earrings on, you've taken out any nose piercings and any other jewelry that you may have on from the waist up, you then know you're going to be safe. Because if we do pull back and then the string snags onto any jewelry, it won't be very nice. So always make sure that you have removed all jewelry. So as I said, when you do come to shooting, we pull right back and we come close to our face. If we're right-handed, we need to shut our left eye and aim with our right. And then when you're ready, you simply let go and the arrow will fly towards the target. So let me just take you through that one more time. So when we load up, we grab our arrow from the quiver stand and it goes over the top, down the side. It rests on that little silver arm, which is the arrow rest. And then we slide it down and we clip just below the white dot, making sure, of course, that the white fletch is facing towards us or away from the bow. Then with our gloved hand, 3 fingers below the arrow, just below it but not touching, good strong arm, we pull right back close to our face. And obviously if we're right-handed, we shut our left eye and aim with our right, and when we're ready, we let go. If you do miss the target, as I said, it's no big deal. We can simply go and collect our arrows, but after a few rounds, we're fairly sure you'll be shooting like a pro. So once we've finished shooting, we simply put our bows back down on the chair. And then once the instructor has seen that everyone has finished shooting, he will let everyone know that it is safe to collect their arrows. So a golden rule that we do have is that there's to be absolutely no running on the range. So we walk to collect our arrows, and the reason for this is that when people start doing archery, they may not quite have got the hang of shooting correctly, and they may not even reach the target. And as you can see, sometimes there will be an arrow in the ground. So we definitely don't want anyone running into any arrows. So we will simply pick this up. And then when we do carry the arrows, we hold them up like so. We grab the base and we put our thumb up against the tip like that. And then we simply point our thumb down to the ground, and then the arrow disappears behind our back. And the reason we do that is that if we do fall over, we're totally safe. But if we're carrying the arrow like that and we fall over, we actually have no real control over this arrow, and we have no idea whether the sharp tip is going to end up. So it is very important that we hold the arrow like so. We put our thumb up. I always say a thumbs up on the tip, but not on the top of it, just against the side. Thumbs up, and then we do a thumbs down, and then the arrow disappears behind your back, and then you're safe to go. When we collect our arrows from the target, it's very important that we approach the target from the side. We don't want to walk straight at the target because there are a number of arrows poking out, and sometimes, obviously, if you're lucky enough to hit the bullseye, people can get very excited and they go diving in to see if they have hit it, and they totally miss another arrow sticking out and their face goes straight into it. So it's very important that we always approach from the side to look at our target. And then when we do take the arrows out, we lean against the target, pushing against it, and then we grab the base of the arrow, and then we check that no one is standing behind us, because we don't want to pull the arrow out into someone's face. So we pull it out, and then we can simply drop the arrow on the ground, and then we repeat the process with each arrow, grabbing the base, leaning against the target first, grabbing the base, checking no one is behind us, and pulling the arrow out and depositing it on the floor. And we'll do the same again with the next arrow. Push against the target, grab the base, look behind us that no one's there, pull the arrow out, and then put it with your other arrows. And then when you do come in to carry them again, line them all up, grab the base, and as I said, thumbs up against the tips, thumbs down, and then we will walk back, deposit the arrows in the quiver stand, and then once everyone has done that, then the next round or the next end will begin. And that's how we run an archery session at Squire Archery. So that's how you use our compound bows at Squire Archery. I hope you found it of interest and obviously useful as well. It will certainly give you an advantage or a heads up when you do come to us to shoot for the first time, because I will be running through the same thing over again. But if you've already watched this video, you'll certainly be ahead of the game, and I'm sure you'll be hitting the bullseye in next to no time. If you did find it useful, please do give us a thumbs up because it will be of help to other people who are visiting us for the first time. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope to see you on the range soon. Bye.